Greetings and welcome. My name is Pretz Bermeyer Gershon, and I'm coming to you from the Crown Province of Uskar in the East Kingdom of the Society for Creative Anachronism. And today I will be showing you a very simple recipe for a medieval late period spiced wine called Lutendranck. This particular recipe comes to us from Anna Weckerin, who published this particular recipe, came from a cookbook published in 1598. Full disclosure, this particular redaction is done from a Danish edition that was published a little bit after the fact from that. But it's very simple to do. It takes just a few minutes to get set up. So we start with a base wine. I like to start with a nice Riesling, a nice sweet wine, but you can certainly use a white or a red, any of those kinds of things. Quick note, Anna Weckerin, writing late in period, gives us not only the first known by name female cookbook author, possibly some others, but we don't know them for a fact. So the first one that we certainly know was definitely authored by a woman. She also, unlike many period cookbooks, gives more specific information, particularly quantities of ingredients. So all of these amounts in the redaction have been calculated from those units of measurement. Of course, feel free to adjust for taste. So speaking of, since we are using a sweetened wine or Riesling, I've got about 75 grams of sugar, 75 to 90 grams, again, depending on the taste, depending on the particular variety of wine that you're using, and the variety of wine you're using, the particular vintage that's going to affect the taste. So feel free to try this multiple times with different Rieslings, different wines, experiment, see what you like. Then, of course, we have our spices. We've got here, for this particular version, about 8 grams of cardamom pods. Quick note, I prefer to use whole spices for this. It makes sieving these out a little bit later and not having a cloudy version of the wine a little bit easier. If you are going to use ground spices, feel free, but maybe put those in a nice tea bag, something that will help filter out some of that excessive cloudiness. Next, we have about 1 gram of ginger. I don't have a particularly precise scale here, so I just got a slice of ginger right here, but of course, if you have a more precise food scale, by all means. About 6 grams of cinnamon, again, whole bark here. A gram of grains of paradise, and about 1 gram's worth of whole nutmeg, again, cut off from a larger piece. So these are rough estimates, but should more or less get us where we need to go. So I've already mentioned using the whole spices as best you can. I've got this Riesling here. I've already used a little bit of this in a previous cook, so we know that this will fit nicely back in the bottle. Certainly the added ingredients can expand things a little bit, so no worries there. So we're going to start with our nice clean pot here. And you're going to want to put about 1/5 or so of the wine into the pot. Again, I'm not being overly precise, but give you an idea. Now, the idea here is to heat the wine, not to boil it. If you boil it, you've gone too far. We just want it to get warm enough to dissolve the sugar in and get the spices to start to diffuse in. So as that is warming up, we're going to take our sugar. Start putting in our spices. And feel free to break these up a little bit more. Again, the more broken up, the more surface area, the easier that these things are going to diffuse in. But again, too fine, it's going to be harder to peel back out. So I find more or less whole spices, coarse pieces for the cinnamon. On the cardamom pods, if you're using whole pods like this, don't lose them in the sink first off. Recommended to break the pods first, but still throw the whole thing in. But this will help expose the seeds, get that in. And so we're just going to do that with these, just crushing the pods open with the end, spine of our knife here. Just adjusting that heat, keeping it nice and low. You don't want any of this moving too fast. Crushing up the cardamom and chopping the spices, you really get a lovely smell, particularly these cardamom pods as they're popping open. So we're just going to go ahead and add those all in, the whole things, everything. And give it a nice little stir. We're just going to keep an eye on this, watching for the sugar to dissolve. Smell that as it's going. Dropping my oven mitt is what that was. Apologies. So basically, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Once this is sugar is fully dissolved, we're going to pour this into a nice sized jar. Then leave that overnight, refrigerated or not, up to you. I'm probably going to go ahead and refrigerate that. Next day, strain that. The recipe original calls for a sieve and cloth, a sieve with a cloth, and strain that a couple of times to get a less cloudy result. For modern food safety, I recommend using a coffee filter. Again, do that a couple of times till you get a nice clear result. And then let it rest for about a week or so. You can certainly drink it right away, but best given at least a week. It can be served hot or cold, though having it chilled would have been seen as a more sophisticated result. And it's good for about a month or so after you've done this, though the more that you age it up to that month, the flavors will change. You'll get different results. I've done this before, found it to be very nice after about 2 weeks. But again, your mileage may vary, so try it within that time frame, at least a week or so, up to a month. See what you like, play, experiment, and enjoy. thank you for joining me, guys, and I look forward to bringing you another recipe in the near future. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment, etc. I'm very new to YouTube, so I don't know how all of that is, but I understand that's what all the YouTubers say. So go ahead and do that, and thank you again for joining me. Come con Ghana.